Okay, we live. This is Derek Dunlap, the Positive Marketer. I just wanted to shoot this special video and put it up here for my multi-dimensional people, my people that are conscious and that are existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Okay, so I know sometimes if you're a one-dimensional person, and that's cool. I'm not, it's nothing against being one-dimensional, earthbound. I'm a human being. Excuse me. I lost my voice a little bit, and I'll tell you why in a minute. We all, at one point in time, in one carnation or another, thought we were human beings. Seriously, human beings having a spiritual experience. But as we start awakening and remembering and upgrading our DNA and, you know what I'm saying, sun gazing, and getting downloads from the cosmos, from where we really come, we're spiritual, cosmic energy beings, we become multi-dimensional. And so I'm making these videos for people who are starting to realize, people who are remembering things, people who have lucid dreams, people who have out-of-body experiences, people who can see through the matrix, right? There's all different type of awakenings going on, especially in this sign of Aquarius now, which is the enlightenment sign. So as you realize and as you see, especially on multimedia, a lot of people are doing quote unquote conscious videos. That's not what I'm doing, conscious videos. I believe everyone is conscious, consciously or unconscious. You know what I mean? It's just I feel a burning desire from deep within me to make my videos. I don't make my videos for monetization at this point, right? I'm saying that because I do realize I'm in 3D, and in 3D, you need money to survive as of right now. And the date is 6/8/2016. And I say that because things are changing. And I truly believe that some of you, depending on your age, some of you will see a civilization or a world that has no currency. Okay, it's coming. Because in the third dimension, that's the only dimension that I've explored. And a lot of other people that I talk to who are multidimensional and can switch their consciousness from 3D to non-physical. There's no money. There's no currency. And I know it's hard to understand that for one-dimensional people. But when you wake up in your ascension, you'll understand that the easiest way I can really touch you and reach you or give you a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a demonstration, but look at it like this so you can feel what we feel as multidimensional people. Have you ever had a dream and you woke up from that dream and you remembered a lot of that dream where you was, tugging on your husband or your wife? Hey, honey, or dad or mom, I had the craziest dream. You know what I mean? Now, if you were more lucid or more conscious in that dream, you would have realized that there were no clocks, no sense of time in that realm. There was no money in that realm. There was no death in that realm. You understand what I'm saying? But the dreams happen so fast. And because you're not conscious or lucid in your dreams, you only remember the emotional things that happen in that dream. You understand what I'm saying? But I promise you, there's no currency in that dream. There's no one world government in that dream. There's no death. You'll never die in a dream. You'll always wake up first because you're immortal, eternal in those parallel universes that we've been sold our dreams and that are not real because they want you to focus on this physical realm, which they can manipulate and dominate. And the agenda is in place. Okay, what I want to talk about on this video, because I'm long-winded when I talk to you guys. I love you guys so much. And this comes from my inner being. What I'm telling you comes from my higher self. This comes from the cosmos. I download this information. And to some, it's very simple information. But to others, it's always right on time. And why? Because we're connected cosmically by energy. Right? You know me in the flesh. Some of you have met me, but you know me from the spirit too. And we are one and you're connecting with me. Now, I had something happen to me today that was just, it really shook me up, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I don't even have my voice today. And I wanted to make a video on right and wrong, good and bad. Okay? good and bad, because I was challenged with this. And the title of this video, is there a such thing as good and bad? Okay. And I'm going to start off this video by saying, yes, there is. Yes, there is. Okay. Especially in the 3-dimensional realm. Okay. Especially when you're looking at this good and bad, these events or these emotions, right? Or circumstances that happen to you, which from your awareness, you're observing. Okay. You've been taught to either stamp good or bad on thoughts, emotions, situations, and events. You were taught this from when you came through your mom's portal into this world. Your mom started that. Your dad, that's not good. That's bad. Okay. So right now, depending on your age, your whole perception of good and bad is basically your parents or whoever raised you. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's just how it is. Okay. So in this 3-dimensional realm right here, from human perspective, based on the main platform that we all grew up in, right? We've been subjected to this law of wherever you at, the United States or whatever country you're in. There's laws, there's regulations. They've been written in stone for humans, and they've been written by humans. Okay. So we can only go so far to the right and so far to the left. All right. As far as the laws, and these laws mean good and bad. Okay. So I want you to know that I'm not telling anybody there's no such thing as good and bad, because I'm gonna make you open up your mind on this. Okay. Especially when I tell you what happened to me today. Right. So I just want you to know, if you go too far to the left, okay, based on the laws that are in place by the powers that be, the agenda that we all are consumed by, okay, they're going to lock your ass up. Okay. That's just the way it is in 3D. Are you with me? All right. So there is, to answer that question, such thing as good and bad. But now I'm going to jump out of my body for a minute. I'm going to get rid of this body and I'm going to go out of 3D. And I want you to try to focus on the universe. Okay. Because there's only really one law that matters to all beings. We're in the form of human beings right now. But if you look around this beautiful planet, no matter where you are, there's other species, entities that live here with us. Okay. That live here with us, that don't give a fuck about our laws, the laws of man. Okay. And it's the only way you can really logically make sense of this, to have clarity from the inside of your being, to keep your inner peace, is what I'm trying to teach you guys how to hold on to, because there's no inner peace with man-made laws. Man-made laws are biased to one side or another side. That's just the way it is. Okay. There could be no good without bad. Everything in this dimension has a total opposite. I like to call it polarity. It's how this dimension that we exist in was created. And I understand that now. So I try not to get or attach any emotion, okay, any unnecessary emotion to circumstances outwardly. Okay. What do I mean by outwardly? Things that I see with my eyes when I first look at a situation. I try not to attach so much emotion to that situation right out of the gate until I can analyze it, till I can have time to take a deep breath, right? And really focus consciously on what's going on and look at that situation, a multi-dimension, from all different perspectives. And then I decide on what kind of emotion or what kind of feelings. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I want to attach to these situations. This is what happened to me this morning. Now, my family, we've been breeding dogs for years. And right now, total we have 7 American Bulldogs. These dogs are me and my wife's kids, children. I'm telling you, like children. We love them. We love them for who they are. They are our beautiful animals that we have stewardship over, and they're just like our family. They eat good. They feel the love. We don't treat them as dogs. We, based on their awareness, we can't treat them as equal because they don't have the mindset of human beings, and they can't walk and talk and bathe themselves. But we kind of treat them like humans. Some will say that's right. You see what I'm saying? And some will say that's wrong. Some will say that's good. Some will say that's bad. Just depends on the perspective. I know a lot of people that think it's bad to have animals as pets because they feel from their perspective, which is their perspective, and I can see their point, that animals should be free just like the birds and the wolves and the squirrels. Are you guys with me? But when we take these animals in and domesticate these animals, we are enslaving them. And in a sense, I understand that. But if you asked any of my dogs if they could speak English, hey, do you want to leave Derek and Ruby's house? They would be like, row, 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 row. They eating too good. They got food, water, shelter. They don't have to go out in the wild and hunt and kill. They eat every day, 3 times a day. They got coats. They got fresh filtered water. They're not drinking water with lead in it. You understand what I'm saying? We really love our dogs. But what happened today, every year, twice a year, my female dogs, they go into heat. Okay. So we're talking about this good and bad and good, right? Does it exist? Yes, but it's based off perspective. Now, these females, as you guys know, some of you know what I'm about to talk about. They go into heat twice a year. And when they go into heat, the male dogs just lose their freaking mind. And I understand why women call men dogs now. They just lose their mind. Okay, they're not thinking logically. So all of the rules that I've instilled in them as man-made rules, like to sit, stay, don't do that, good boy, all that shit is out of the window when them females come in to eat. So what happens was I changed up the program a little bit because we have an alpha male. His name is Eli. Eli cannot be around any other of the males. Okay, because we know he's the alpha, and because we don't like. Now here's where it comes in, because my mom totally disagrees with this. Excuse me. We don't like for the animals to have to go through the natural laws of the universe, the survival of the fittest. The stronger dog is the alpha male dog, and he runs the pack, because eventually your alpha male is going to run all of the other males away. This is what they do in the wild. But when you have males domestically, it's up to me and my wife to keep order, to keep them separated. So we have shifts. Different males go out in the yard at different times, and we rotate them. And for 6 years, we've been doing this, and we only had one altercation, like I'm about to tell you what happened, in 6 years. So, I mean, we doing pretty well. My voice is gone. Okay, so this morning, the females were in heat. I did something different, and I don't know why I did, but what I did was I put one of the males out with one of the females. And for some reason, I was tired this morning, and the females just bark in the morning. They bark at the squirrels. They bark at the wind. They bark at, sticks, whatever. So I wanted to get a little more, about an extra hour of sleep, because I was up to about 4 or 5 in the morning. So what I did was, and I never do this, I always bring them in twos. It's embedded in my mind. I brought the female in, and I left one of the males out in the yard. Okay. So I goes back to sleep. My phone rings. My mom wakes me up. I start talking to my mom. We FaceTime, and I haven't talked to my mom in a long time. Beautiful conversation. Threw me right. I mean, I was just in bliss talking to my mom. We talked about so many different things. And I looked at the clock, because it's a schedule with 6 dogs. You got to have a schedule. Everybody got to get enough sunlight and run time and play time. So I said, oh, shoot, I got to let Eli out. It was like I was 45 minutes late from Eli's time. Eli is the alpha male, but I had forgot that I left Earl out in the yard, and we got a big yard. So I run downstairs. My mom's still on FaceTime with me. I show her Eli. She's doggy talking to him, and we come up the stairs. And I just did not look over at Earl's cage to see if Earl was still in his cage. I missed it. And I opened up the door, and I let Eli out into the yard. And this is when I really, really had to bite down on right and wrong. And that's what really drove it into my heart of perspective and universal right and wrong and man-made right and wrong. Okay, those dogs, we're gonna fight to the death. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna get graphic with it, but the females were in heat. Both males wanted to mate, and now it's the alpha against this. Well, no, Earl is older than Eli, so Eli wanted Earl's position as the alpha dog. But in the heat of this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not thinking like this animal shit. I'm saying this is fucked up because it was just me. And it took, listen, Eli's about 130 pounds. An American boy. He is so strong. Okay. And it was killing me to see these dogs hurting each other. It was literally ripping my soul out. I love these dogs so much. And those of you who have dogs, I am so sorry. Those of you who have dogs, you know what I'm talking about. It kills you to see your animals fight, or it kills you to see blood. And these two were just going at it like just pure hate. And the energy was so horrible to sit in. And I was so weak. They fought for about 17 minutes straight, which I'm telling you, I got so much respect for boxers now. They say, we look at boxing and we think that boxing is so easy. It's only 3 minutes around. You get in there for three minutes around and swing and kick and really fight for 3 minutes. That 17 minutes is a long time with two bulldogs. Okay. So eventually I finally was able to separate these dogs when they were just almost exhausted. One of the dogs let go. Nothing serious because I was there. Just dogs, they got fangs and they puncture each other. They put little holes in each other and the blood squirts out. But I'm done. I'm done mentally. I'm the positive marketer. I'm done at this point mentally. So I put one dog in the kennel and I'm talking to the other dog. I'm so disappointed in you, Earl. How could you do this? This is wrong. This is not right. This is wrong. I was so emotionally done after that fight. It was like I was just in a war. Okay. And I finally got a chance to go in the house and I knew what I had to do. I had to reset. I had to center. And this is one of my gifts. Okay. Now, normal people would sit in that energy probably for a week. If you saw what I saw and witnessed what I witnessed, I had to put peroxide on the ground. It was blood everywhere. I'm telling you, it was like a professional prize fight, a tough man contest. Okay. And when I went into that meditation, my higher self defined the definition for me. And I'm just sharing it with you guys of right and wrong to those dogs. Okay. We domesticated those dogs. We placed those dogs under human rules. You understand what I'm saying? Those dogs understand that when those females go into heat, right, the primary awareness that dogs have is protecting the pack, hunting, eating, and mating. Okay? So to those dogs, they were under the universal code. It's in their nature to be an alpha male. You don't choose the alpha male of your dog. It's an alpha male. And they choose by fighting. Sometimes until the death. So I had to meditate to go up to that frequency to understand why my two dogs that I love to death tried to kill themselves in my mind over a piece of pussy. You guys understand? It was wrong to me until I meditated and went up to the energy and sat there and kind of like just a different perspective. I could see that situation from all angles. And I went into each of those dogs and each of those dogs thought that they were right. So yes, there is a good and a bad, but it's totally based off perspective. Okay, I'm going to give you another analogy. All right, I'm gonna give you another one so you can really grab hold of this. You cannot attach a lot of emotion to good and bad situations. You're gonna have to learn how to look at a situation from all points before you attach that emotion to it. All right, here's another one, right? And this, a lot of people ain't gonna like this, but Mike Brown got shot dead in the street by a police officer. This was big, right? This was all over the news. Now, to some people, it was a justifiable shot. All right. Now, to me, I I had a little more emotion, and I was a little, if you didn't even tell me the story and I saw that kid laying out in the street, then naturally I'm a human being. Okay. I am a human being in this 3-dimensional realm with access to the cosmos through my spirituality and my awareness. But when my awareness is looking at anything, I got emotional off the dog. So imagine how I felt about Mike Brown or anybody shot dead in the street. But until I get the facts of that story, what I've learned and trained my awareness and my consciousness, I don't attach any emotion to it. I observe it from a distance and with no emotion. This is the way you have to be in this 3-dimensional realm, because there cannot be right without wrong. Right? It's called polarity. And some people are going to think it's right, and some people are going to think it's wrong. And you don't want to get trapped on one of those sides. If you can, stay neutral. Understand what happened. Understand that it's two sides, and don't attach emotion to either side. Because what's going to happen is going to happen regardless of whether you attach emotion to it or not. It still happen. You have the choice to what emotion you want to attach to situations, events, thoughts, and circumstances. All right. This is how you become a superhuman. Those who can stay calm in the midst of storms become superhuman abilities. OK, it's not easy. It's not, quote unquote, within the laws that we were taught and brought up in. I'm 45. I've been taught one way for 40 years, how to think, how to respond. Oh, I'm black. So you understand what I'm saying? And if you're called, oh, I'm white. So white power. That's how we were taught. That shit is bred in us. And you're not going to snap your fingers and just expect for things to change. Things will change in time. I'm changing now. I'm 45 years old. It took me 45 years in this incarnation to understand that there's really, from a cosmic, universal perspective, got to come out of this body. There's really no such thing as right and wrong. They're just events that we attach emotion to. There's got to be someone on, I think that's right. Got to be somebody on that side for the wrong to exist. You can't have a right without a wrong. How would you know it was wrong if you didn't know it was a right? Are you understanding what I'm saying? You can't have a Democrat right now without a Republican. They both, in order for one to exist, they both have to exist. It's just really based on what emotion do you attach to an event or circumstance that happens in your life. That Mike Brown was, you know what I mean? And I felt the pain. You never want to see anybody laying on the street. But when I saw, let me just say this. I don't believe anyone you'll get emotionally seeing anything shot dead in the street, especially if you grew up in the inner city. You would get emotional. I can't say you will, but I would if I saw a deer shot dead in the street. Roadkill, I look and say, oh God, you don't understand what I'm saying? Let alone a human being which is in the same physical form that I am. So I'm going to be more emotional towards human beings, because human beings, I can feel the energy and I can communicate with humans more say than animals and things. You understand what I'm saying? So we're more biased towards human beings in the 3-dimensional plane. But what I'm telling you is life is life. We were all, and this is something that you have to learn through incarnation. When you learn what true love is, then all fear will alleviate. It'll dissipate from your awareness, and you'll become one with all. You understand what I'm saying? So the little girl was running down the street screaming and hollering for her life. For her life. It was a man chasing her, and just off of emotion, somebody shot the man. This shit happens, I'm telling you, in the heat of the moment, right? Only to find out after he shot the man, they got the girl. Why was you screaming? He was chasing me. Why was he chasing you? Him and my dad got into a fight, and my dad shot his. You understand what I'm saying? You don't know the story. All you know is there's a man dead. There's a girl screaming. And that's probably a bad analogy, but you have to look and you have to give things enough time to play out enough time for you to make a conscious decision. So many times we see shit on TV. We don't know what happened. We just looking at what we see, right? And this whole dimension is an illusion, meaning things aren't as they seem 99.9% of the time. So if you can develop this universal law, there's laws of the universe. There's laws that all things have to fit in to exist. Are you understanding what I'm saying? If you can live by that law, then this physical dimension will become less stressful to you, because you'll see things universally. When people die, when people that you love pass away, you'll understand that there's no such thing as death. It's just levels to these dimensions, and we all go inward. We shed the physical body to inhabit our non-physical bodies, and we continue to go inward. How can we prove this? We could take something as simple as a caterpillar. Come on, people. Caterpillars, that's why it's important to spend time with nature and turn off, the iPads, and we become desensitized to all that is, to nature. Okay. And that's how we lose our kind of scale of being centered with everything. Human beings, we're way over to the left, and everything else is kind of still in sync. We are the farthest out of sync with Mother Earth, out of sync with who we are, out of sync with emotion, out of sync with communication, out of sync with love, out of sync with our thoughts. We are out of sync from artificial intelligence, which I'm talking on right now. We don't like to think, we just like to Google everything, and without knowing, somebody put that information in Google. The agenda puts the information in Google. You understand what I'm saying? The agenda runs the television programs that you swear by, which is, I'm sorry about the phone, which is one agenda. Just one agenda, one perspective. You know what I'm saying? All African American people are not thoughts and hoes and rappers. That's just one perspective of the African American culture. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with thoughts. Thoughts have the right to live on this planet, just like pimps, hoes, and prostitutes have the right to exist on this planet. It's just in that moment and that time, that's the energy that they are projecting. I've been a hoe before in my life, before, meaning I lived at one particular time in my life chasing coochie. I was younger, but that's what I did in that moment. That moment doesn't define my whole existence, my whole carnation. We're just experiencing life. We're experiencing things. Some things we hold on to, some things we shake loose. Okay, so is there such thing as right and wrong? It's just from perspective. You might think it's wrong for me to think that I stayed neutral when Mike Brown was shot in the street. I mean, I might be called Uncle Tom, all of that. So you understand, people, you have the right to attach whatever type of emotion or belief that you like to any situation. I thought it was wrong that a human being was dead in the street. You understand what I'm saying? But I know Mike Brown is not dead. I know Mike Brown just shedded his physical shell, right? And he has some choices. Him and his higher self has some choices on some things that they have to do differently his next time around, if he's conscious enough to even know that there is a next time around where he can make these choices and fix these things that he lacked in this carnation. Back to the butterfly, the caterpillar. If you catch a caterpillar, which I'm not telling you to do, okay? Put that caterpillar in a jar. Eventually, over time, that caterpillar will build its own grave. You would actually think the caterpillar was dead. And what that caterpillar does is it wraps itself up in what's called a cocoon. They used to teach this in early, like the 3rd or 4th grade. And that caterpillar stays in that cocoon for a period of time. And what happens is amazing. That caterpillar starts to bust out of that cocoon in this physical dimension. The universe has a way of teaching you, right? If you can zero in on it and really feel the energy and get the understanding of what's going on. If a caterpillar, right, an insect, and to man, that insect is not as important as we think we are. That insect is minute. Right? And we don't even know the awareness of insects because we only see them as insects. You understand? But they have a big responsibility as far as the balance of this physical planet. We just don't know what it is. You understand what I'm saying? If an insect, something that small, can go into a cocoon for 30 days our time and come out of that cocoon and fly away as a beautiful butterfly. You have to know that there's more after this 3D physical dimension for us. I know, I'll put my life on it. I know we're immortal beings. I've traveled these dimensions. I'm conscious in these dimensions. Now I can only go so high having this physical body, right? Because I'm attached to this body. So I can only vibrate so high in this physical form. But the divine presence is saying, Derek Dunlap, you are immortal. You are a part of me. And this is what is in store for you when you just see things out of your humanity conscious mind that you've learned from mankind. We learn this from mankind, and mankind is just one grain of sand on that beach of what's in store in the universe. Are you fucking kidding me? You think we're all that exists? Are you serious? Are you serious? So I had to make this video because it was just, I learned so much from those dogs. It's just two dogs fighting. You see how much information I got from just two dogs fighting, sitting down right after the fight, centering myself, figuring out what just happened, getting the information from the Akashic records really high, tapping into my higher self to understand, Derek, it's not a right or wrong. It happened because it's in their nature. You brought them into your reality, your realm. They're going to do that with you or without you. The first chance they could have got, those dogs were going to fight. You understand what I'm saying? Now, is that right or wrong? Well, ask them from their perspective, if you could. It's right. Universally, it's right. Lions and tigers do it every day, all day. That's why there's no such thing as death. You might think it's wrong that animals die. Animals don't die. If you cut your grass right now and it rains, more grass will grow. If you cut the leaves or the trees down, more trees will grow. Are you guys with me? Flies on shit. They something minute as flies. They keep multiplying. This divine presence that you call God, right? The divine presence is the presence that we all and everything in the entire universe exist in. It is perfect. It is flawless. Its order will keep going with your awareness or without your awareness. Human beings are going to come in and out of this dimension to infinity, to learn who they are, to learn that divine presence of which we all reside in and we all were created from, that divine energy. All right. So I know that sometimes when things happen real quick, right, we attach them. Oh, that was so wrong. They shot that little girl ain't dead. That little girl went inward. You don't know if that little girl just came to this portal to tell somebody a message from the cosmos. See, you don't have that understanding being grounded in the physical dimension. Oh, babies are being aborted. You don't know those babies, it just wasn't their time to come into this dimension. There's divine intervention going on that's so far past our intellect. We have no idea what's going on outside of our homes, let alone the universe. Some of us don't even know what our children are doing. Do you think we know what's going on in the cosmos? Right? I know humanly you're sad that babies are being aborted. I don't like to hear that either, but I can rise above the babies being aborted and know that they have souls and their souls never die. They just didn't inhabit that physical body. What happens? That body goes back to Mother Earth. That soul returns to where it goes. Okay, what's my next assignment? It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. That's life on this planet Earth. And you're going to continue to come back to this earth until you realize who you are, what you were sent here for, and the task that you had to do in this carnation. My task, I had to learn how to love, and I'm still learning. That's why I'm still here. I can't shed this body until I learn how to love. Are you with me? Unconditional love. I have to learn how to love those who hate my guts. And I'm working on it. And I love you. Peace.